Is anybody gonna be standing?
Me?
Yeah, sure, Dad.
I don't have a seat.
We can all just stand.
I think we need to
How
lower
about
this.
Yeah. This looks so weird. We should make this as weird as possible.
I need a side angle because that's when I look.
We don't sit.
Oh.
No, look at it.
I can see Kobe and not you.
What are you filming on? What's setting? That's wide.
I know we want it wide. Leave
No,
it.
that's not wide.
That is wide, Kenny.
What's the guy's name? What's up,
I am
Sean?
Dally Kellogg, and I'm all the way in the back because no one likes me.
See, you can't do that, guys.
I like Kenny's phone.
Yes, it
Don't
is.
sit so
All right, ready?
straight. I love Kenny.
Ready?
Yeah, that was pretty.
Hey, we are the Kellogg family.
Hold on, I'm not looking.
Dad, hold on, I'm not
Everybody look.
We're just wasting the battery.
Yeah.
Look.
Hey, we're the Kellogg family. We are 14 deep. We're missing 4 of our kids
What does
today.
that mean?
Shut up. Everybody knows what that means. What do you want me to say?
14 deep.
Then you say what you want to say. You go.
You don't say
Sounds like a
deep.
movie.
I just want to.
The Deep.
Sounds like there's sharks.
That was a natty show.
Alright, guys, what's up? This is KelloggShow Kids.
No, it's not.
I'm KelloggShow Kids.
Sit with me.
Come with me.
Rock,
God, I
paper,
forgot to
scissors.
do it.
Rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
Rock, paper. What are you
Behind
doing?
your
It's
back.
rock, paper, scissors,
know.
shoot.
Rock,
Behind your
paper,
back.
scissors, shoot.
What are you doing? Rock, paper,
Rock.
scissors, shoot.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Dad is going first.
My name
D-A-N,
is
Dan.
Dan Kellogg, and I'm awesome.
I thought Dad said we can't be smartasses.
This is a cool
Dad.
Hey guys, we're the
Shut
Kellogg
up.
Show family. This is Dan. I'm Susie. Together we have 14 kids, and we've been living
Dad's
in a
not
freaking
looking.
RV for 7 gosh darn years, and we're about ready to kill each other.
Dad's not looking.
I've been sitting here trying to film this video
That's
for
pretty good.
7 years.
Actually,
That's why
okay.
we're done.
Ready?
Always ready.
Sir, yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Dan,
Wait,
and
do
this
we
is.
just smile at the
Oh
camera?
my gosh.
Is that all we do? Is just
Yes,
Yes, for
stand
just
here.
at the intro.
That's
Yes.
why I'm fine with being in the back because no one can see.
Ready?
my face.
Yep.
1,
That
2.
house is it's so bright.
No talking.
Okay, speak. Take 5.
You can't be like break down laughing at the
Mom's
intro.
over here laughing.
Dad's talking about.
Take 5.
Give me oxygen.
all right.
It's
Ready?
gonna take you forever to edit. We're gonna have 2 hours of video.
I need to be good.
Hi, I'm Dan, and this is my wife Susie and our 12 children. And we spent the last 7 years living in our 36-foot RV.
That sucked.
That
Hey,
was terrible.
hey, y'all! Welcome to the Kellogg Show. This is Dan. I'm
It's
Susie.
a Kellogg show.
We are the
That's
Kellogg
what
Show.
we
Oh my
Take 7. Can I just do it?
Hey y'all! Hey y'all! Welcome. We are the Kellogg's. This is Dan. I'm Susie. Together with our 14 children, we've been living in an RV for 7 years. Gosh damn it!
Mom, you're sitting too far
14
forward.
children?
14
Mom.
children now.
I don't know how many kids we have.
Mom, 2 more. You're sitting too far forward.
Hey guys, we are the Kellogg family. This is my husband Dan. I'm Susie. Together we have 12 kids, and we have been living in a 36-foot RV for over 7 years together.
Really good, but you guys are.
Hey, we're the Kellogg family. This is my husband Dan. I'm Susie. Together we have 12 kids, and we've been living in a 36-foot RV for 7 years.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dan, this is my wife Susie, and together...
Hi.
Hi, I'm Dan, this is my wife Susie, and together we've been living in a 36-foot RV for the last 7 years with our 12 kids.
12 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, we lost 4.
The fudge, where'd they go?
Dally looks like you're crying.
Because I was just yawning.
Because
not
you
funny.
said
This is
there's
not
12
interesting.
kids. You gotta explain where the other ones are.
All right. Hey, we're the Kellogg family. This is my husband Dan. I'm Susie. We have 12 kids, and we've been living in our RV for over 7 years together. 4 of our kids are not here. They're off gallivanting doing their thing. But we're representing here with 8 of the most awesome of the 12. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So 7 years in an RV, a 36-foot RV has taught us a lot about ourselves, about the world, about our dreams, and about all the things that we want to accomplish as a family.
Everybody wants to know how we afford to do this. Well, I do have a job, and I'm a software engineer, and I'm self-employed, and I've hired all my kids. They all work for me.
Sweeping, mopping, not just kidding.
Coding.
Yeah, 3 of them. Kenny,
We're all
Dally.
programmers.
Yep. All right, so we completely understand that we are totally different than the majority of people. For one thing, we live in a 36-foot RV and have for over 7 years. Everybody fits in this small little space. And in most families, everybody has their own room. In our family, everybody has their own cabinet.
And that's all the space you get. So, it's not a lot.
In fact, Dan and I actually have a bedroom in the back with a little sliding door, but it's also used as a place for people to read and people to listen to music and people to nap and people to do work and school and study and all of that stuff.
And the door doesn't lock, so it's hard for us to get alone time.
We got to leave for that. And then if any of them, like this is where they sleep in the main room. So when it's breakfast time, everybody has to wake up. And poor Katie, she goes to bed really early and wakes up really, really early as well. So she can't go to bed until everybody is ready to go to bed, which we're night owls, like even our little. So that kind of affects Katie's whole flow.
Even for all of us kids, we don't have privacy either. I mean, sometimes we can go like to the back in between the two doors and change and stuff with privacy, but up here sleeping, we all share the same room. It's a bed, and that's where we sleep. So you hear Dally snoring all night long, screaming at him to wake up, and it's just, I don't know what I was going to do.
Yeah, well, their alarms too. They set their alarms for like 5 o'clock in the morning, and Kenny's vibrates, so it vibrates the entire RV. It goes,
At least it's not Dally's. Yeah, boy.
Dally's is this high pitched, yeah, boy.
I actually told him that he had to take that alarm off.
And then he walks into church.
I never want to hear it again.
I did.
It's so bad.
I did take it off. But I think me snoring is worse for me. Because all it is all night is slap, Dally, lay on your side. I am. Slap, Dally, lay on your back. Slap, Dally, lay on your stomach. All night.
That's not me.
Constantly.
So obviously with 12 kids, money is always tight.
Wait, what?
We're always living on a pretty tight budget. And one of the things that always suffers is vehicles. Our RV is pretty old. It's a 1999. Our other vehicle is a 2005. So as we're traveling around the country, things are always breaking down. That's a given. And so wherever we end up breaking down, it's a family effort to get things back up and running again. And everybody's learned auto mechanics and how to fix the diesel engine, how to fix cabinets, how to fix brakes, tires,
everything.
And sometimes even like they'll be driving behind us trying to get our attention because something's falling off the trailer or is being dragged behind the RV, or the RV's come up, or something's come apart and we have to pull off the road and go about fixing it.
One of the most common complaints from the people who drive behind the RV is that the understorage is open. And when the understorage opens, everything starts flying out of the understorage. I mean, we've lost hammocks and balls and jump ropes and weights. We had weights fall out. It's just crazy.
So our understorage with this old RV, they have key locks, but they don't latch very well anymore. And so most of them have to be bungeed, but we have a checklist that we normally try to go through, but we always forget things. Always forget things.
What's the biggest thing we forget?
The dog.
The dog.
Hate to say it, but we've actually left him behind about 2.5 hours before we realized we didn't have him and I had to turn around and go back and get him.
He was in the exact same spot where we camped, just waiting for us. He knows. He knows.
He was gone for a whole day in Alaska.
Yeah, in Alaska, somebody picked him up and took him like on their trip.
Yeah, they drove him to Whitehorse.
9 hours.
We were on the Alaska highway, and yeah, they literally drove like 9 hours ahead of us as we searched all over the place for him.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, he just sneaks away. He's like us. He's got wanderlust. He doesn't want to stay in one place. So, I mean, it's fitting that that's our dog, but it's still a pain in the butt.
There'd be times where, like, the understorage opens up and things start falling out, and me or Dally are driving, or Katie or Brody, we're, like, swerving off the road, jumping out, running, grabbing it, trying to call them. Sometimes we don't even have service, so then we have to catch back up, pass them, wave them down until they finally pull off the road. Just, sometimes it's utter chaos. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That happened out in Alaska once, and it was raining, and Dad hid the maple cookies in the understorage.
Maple cookies were going everywhere. We were collecting those.
Dally's favorite cookies on the planet. He's going to stop for those.
The worst was when we had part of the trailer come undone and kayak paddles started flying down the highway, and a tractor trailer ran over Katie's, and it just disintegrated it.
What?
And those are like, they were expensive paddles. Like $400.
Remember what happened to your kayak? It dragged behind the RV.
Oh, yeah.
It fell off the trailer.
It fell off forward.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be pulled off. It was just slowly getting pushed on the ground as we were driving. Just grinded the thing away.
Remember
there
what
was like
happened
nothing
to
left to
awning?
it.
Nobody saw that for 100
I was
miles.
just gonna say that.
And
What?
the drone?
That awning.
Oh yeah. You don't actually remember that,
Daddy,
do you? It's a
and then-
video, right?
We made hot chocolate.
Yeah. You
Mom.
were so cold. We made you hot
And the
chocolate.
drone was run over?
Not
Dad's drone.
Oh.
Dan ran his drone into a car in Alaska too. So many mishaps,
I
so
got
many
hit by
crazy
a car,
things.
I think is how you would say it.
Yeah.
Well, when you're zooming
My
towards
drone
it.
got hit. No, I was hovering.
Okay, whatever.
Not only does that stuff happen on the outside of the RV, but sometimes even on the inside, where we hitting like a bumpy road, cabinets just start opening and slamming, things flying out. It's like a war zone, and you're just covering your head, trying to hide from it until we get past it. Then you're cleaning everything up. It's crazy.
On the top of Rowdy's to-do list, his checklist is to duct tape every last cabinet in the main part of the RV, because Kenny's right, things just fall. And we've been sitting right here and we've had Kindles and computers I mean, we're gonna get knocked out one of these days. Dan's cabinets up here, things just fall on him. There's some bumpy roads when you're trying to
Things
go
fell on
off-road.
somebody's head here.
Cody,
Cody.
a computer came
Like a
down.
computer fell off and landed
Yeah,
on his
that's what I
head.
was just saying, yeah.
Remember the one time Cardi did a front flip from here to the front?
Yeah.
Because
That was
Cardi ran us off the road. Cardi's like, "Bah!"
We got legit run off the road in Utah, and Cardi was standing up to, I don't know what he was doing. But that was at a time where we were really adamant about having everybody buckled, the little kids were in car seats. I mean, we were road worthy, like legal. But anyway, Cardi stood up to do something, and Dan had to slam on his brakes because this RV, or was it a truck? It was a semi, came right in front of our RV, and it veered off. Dan veered off onto the side of the road, and Cardi just went, boom, scary. He got up, he's rubber though, he got up and he thought that was the coolest thing ever.
He was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, did you see that?
We started traveling in the RV primarily because of kayaking. Once we all learned to kayak, it was literally all we really wanted to do. Everybody quit all their other school sports, and all they wanted to do was kayak in the river. And it's whitewater kayaking that I'm talking about. So it's extreme kayaking. It's extreme fun, and there's an element of danger. So it's a pretty exciting thing to do. And that's what we're all about, is adventure. And so we got this RV basically to travel around the state of Colorado, to kayak on all the great rivers that are in the state of Colorado. And then we decided to go further, and we traveled all the way to Tennessee. And on the way back, everybody was really upset, really glum, really sad to be coming back home. And so somebody piped in like, why can't we just do this forever? And Susie and I looked at each other and we thought about it, and we was like, why not? Let's just do this.
We're free.
So we put our house on the market and loaded up all our possessions that we wanted to bring and took off. And that's 7 years ago, and we're still doing it.
Yeah, never looked back, ever. Everything has changed. Our whole lives turned upside down once we decided to live in an RV. We'd already started homeschooling, but our homeschooling took a completely different turn. We started traveling. The kids started getting education from seeing and doing. And, you know, you've got 8-year-olds who can change the oil on a car, and 12-year-olds who can change a tire. And we started realizing that education was more about following your dreams and your passions and finding what it is that you love to do. And so Kenny, Dally, and Cardi don't want anything to do with a 9-to-5 job. They've watched their dad be able to take his family of 14 across the country and up and down into Canada. And our next big thing that we want to do is going to Mexico. And so they've watched him. They've grown up. They've grown up inside this RV, and their eyes have been opened. And so they were like, I want to do what Dad does. And so what we've learned with education is that the majority of families, they live a very structured life. They wake up, they go to work, they go to school, they come home, they go do their extracurricular activities, they come home, they eat, and they do the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. They live for Fridays, they hate Mondays, they live for their 2 weeks of vacation. And Dan and I realized that life is so much more than that. And sharing that with our kids, they have this zest for life. Everybody wakes up in the morning not knowing what's going to happen because the possibilities are literally endless. Emmy, Ellie, and Colby, their biggest question every morning is, what are we doing today? It could be dirt biking, it could be kayaking, it could be climbing, it's always something really exciting. And so they have a zest for life that's really incomparable. Yeah, so the rest of you, come sit down, come move up.
Do I have to?
No, but you can scoot over.
You got promoted.
So we don't follow the regular script that society kind of forces upon everybody, which is go to school, graduate from high school, go to college, graduate from college, go back to grad school, get a good job, buy a car, buy a house, get married, have kids. We don't prescribe to any of that. We live by a completely different model, which is basically it's all about family. We want to spend as much time as we possibly can together as a family, and we work hard, but we work enough to support that way of life. Our goal is not to make a ton of money and just work nonstop and not have fun. Our goal is to have fun every single day with the people that we love. So we want to go out and have extreme adventures together as a family. So we're all about being together and doing stuff together and living life together and building memories together, so that when we're old, we want our kids and our grandkids to surround us with love.
Yeah, we don't have a keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Like, we don't care what the Joneses are doing. And we've caught a lot of slack from that, from our family and friends. Everybody thinks we're insane. How are your kids? They're going to be feral. How are your kids going to ever get a job? What about dating? What about prom? What about socialization? And we basically said, forget all of that. None of that's even remotely important. However, all of our kids have managed to go to prom. All of them are going to homecoming dances and all this ridiculous stuff that really to us means nothing, but they're getting to do it anyway. So, and dating hasn't been a problem. Grady met his wife while traveling. Dally met his current girlfriend. He's going on over a year with her, KT, and dating's not a problem except for with Kenny. He does. No, I'm just kidding. Kenny's had a series of girlfriends.
It's been a bit of a problem for me, though, to be honest. Honestly, there's a lot of craziness that goes on in this RV, and I try to be the voice of reason. I try to be the one that, holds down the fort and keeps everybody under control. But this wild bunch is out of control most of the time. Even when I'm driving down the road, you can't just get people to sit down and let me drive. No, there's, wrestling matches going on. Bodies flying left and right.
That's not me. I'm in the truck.
She laughs because she encourages it.
And you're half of that trouble as well.
While I agree, let's let the kids be kids and let them play, let them have fun. We're butting heads on a lot of these things.
That is another point. So when you've got a family of 14, you don't have 14 similar temperaments. You have 14 very, very distinct temperaments. And some people, Kenny, Dan, and Cardi, and Dally, very level-headed for the most part. They bounce back really, really fast. They hit a wall and they get angry, but they get over it really, really fast.
Some of us are hot heads.
Yeah, I've got
big-time hot heads and have big-time mouths.
That went off the rails a little bit. I was very nice, but I do have a temper. There's a part of me that's just always like that comedian said, that what did he say? He idles at 75. That's kind of me. Yeah. I'm incredibly high energy, just very fast at everything that I do, and I expect Dan to be fast too, and he's the slowest.
I'm not. I'm slow. I'm
methodical,
relaxed.
Yes, and
calm.
I'm sometimes very envious of their type of temperament because they're calm, and you can tell by the way we even talk. I'm talking at 90 miles a minute. Maddie is the same way. Don't get her angry because you will pay dearly, dearly. And yeah, I've got a bit of a mouth. A lot of times we have to bleep things out, but
bit.
Yeah, we didn't have to even talk about that.
And the thing is that living in this tight space, there is not enough room to not be bumping into people or misplacing things and having somebody mess with your stuff. There's 1,000,001 reasons for people to have issues, and they do. And usually it doesn't go well.
It always goes well. We have we have heated arguments, and that's a really great thing that we've all learned being in the RV, is that pretty much anybody is free to say whatever they want, but we don't hold grudges. We acknowledge, yes,
No.
you have a big temper, and yes, you said this, but for the most part, we really are able to be like oil and water and just kind of let things run off, and we get over things quickly for the most part because you have to, because you're living in such a small quarter. You know?
We have to resolve things. We have to forgive and forget. And get over things and make amends. All right, so aside from living in a small space in the RV, we also rough it. It's a pretty rough way to live, really, because we don't have a really nice RV. We got what we could with what we could afford, and our focus has been on adventures outdoors and traveling and getting to places. So actually living in the RV is really not so nice because we don't have a hot water heater. That's broken. We
don't have a shower.
We don't have a shower. We had to, basically, because without a hot water heater, we said, well, we'll take out the shower and put in more storage space. We took out the oven because you hated the oven.
It was that big.
And so
there's 14 of us.
So we took out the gas oven and we got a induction burner instead. And then one day we hit the brakes and that went flying, so that's gone.
We use an Instant Pot now, though.
Yeah, we use like appliances and a microwave. And when we restructured this RV, we also put in a smaller kitchen with a smaller sink, which is way too small. And
our toilet is broken. Like, we literally rough it, and the way we are able to justify that and remedy that in our head is that we don't live in the RV. We literally sleep here, and we cook in here, and it's a way for us to get to where we want to be. And we used to talk about the journey being the awesome part of it. Well, now we've all learned that it's not the journey, it's getting to where we want to be. Like, truthfully, that's the thing for us. So we live in the RV because this is our home, but we're not in here very often because it's tight. It's very tight, and it's not terribly comfortable. There's been a lot of times where we've showered in the river, or the boys will talk about going, 10 days to 2 weeks without really a shower.
I think my record's 3 weeks.
3 weeks? I mean, they're in the water, but they're not, like, showering. So,
It's an upgrade from camping.
Absolutely.
So it's like
climate control.
We
heat,
do have
air
some
conditioning.
luxuries, which we call it luxuries, that if you compared it to camping. Shh. Hey, you guys are talking in the middle of us
He's gone
talking.
10 weeks with no shower. That is no.
You have not gone that long.
I gone
You haven't even
Not
gone
gone
5
that
I
long,
gone-
because we force you to shower
5
when it's been the
weeks
week.
I remember Cody.
Okay, stop talking.
But we compare it to camping, and so for us, we have luxuries because it's a step above camping. So we have air conditioning, which is huge. We couldn't survive without air conditioning.
We don't have, what are those bugs, those things, scorpions, and mosquitoes and ants
Snakes
and bees
things.
and snakes in here that you have to worry about when you're camping and stuff. So this is luxurious to us in terms of the way we used to camp.
What's up, Eddie?
He's just talking about
He came out so slow.
This is Eddie, troublemaker dog.
What was he doing?
Here he is.
He sleeps under there.
How did he get in?
Eddie is a mini golden doodle, and he is 7 years old. He was born literally like a month before we got the RV, something like that.
Yep, we bred him. We used to be dog breeders.
So one of the things about having a big family is that, like I said, we do everything together. Well, we also work together and fix things together. And one of the things that advantage of that is we can get things done fast. We literally gutted this entire RV almost as far back as you can see, stripped it all down, tore out the carpet, tore out this booth, tore out the kitchen, and put down new floors, rebuilt this booth, put in a new kitchen in 3 days. And with the help of this work crew. So we can do things fast.
Yeah.
Because that's our goal, is to get the work done fast so that we can go take off and have more adventures.
Yeah, and while it sounds like all we do is just have fun and goof off, that is not. We take parenting extremely serious, and raising our kids to be hard workers who understand suffering and pain is all part of it. And so there's a lot of that. Kenny and Dally are into dirt biking and snowmobiling, and they've bought umpteen really crummy snowmobiles, and Dally's blew up, like on fire. And they had to put it out. And there's a video out there of this craziness. But
We've blown 4 snowmobile engines, caught one on fire, and it completely just burned to a crisp.
Yeah. And dirt biking. How many of those? Every time we go dirt biking, it's like RC cars. Constantly
Blown
breaking down.
2 engines so far. Rebuilt one like 20 times, and it's still dead.
I think
Still
you've wrecked dirt bikes more than anybody.
Yeah, you did a front flip.
I didn't flip over it. I just went flying. I
You
did like a
No, she landed
Superman.
upside down.
I
You
did a
landed upside
Superman.
down on a stump in a bush.
Which means
30-foot
That's
cliff. It was
saved her
ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
So
All I
you-
did was break a pinky.
You
So
can
you're
do
allowed
flips,
to
but
try
we can't.
flips, but we can't.
I'm so sick. I'm so sick.
Hey, you gotta
Wait,
learn,
you're
dude.
sick?
Yeah, I'm a sick dirt biker.
Wait.
No, we definitely push the envelope. We take safety pretty seriously, and we try to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. But we do take calculated risks, and we believe that with the safety precautions and people watching out for each other, that we can do a lot of pretty extreme stuff. One of the things everybody loves to do is we try to find all these remote places that have like either waterfalls or some other cliff where you can jump into some deep enough body of water. And I think they've jumped probably as high as 65 feet so far.
70.
70?
Damn.
Yeah, that's
75.
that's crazy high.
Yeah.
And you jumped from like what, 50 and bruised your tailbone?
6 to 8 weeks. I'm like on my 7th week or something of pain. It's ridiculous.
I had enough sense to not do that jump.
Yeah.
That
But
does 50.
in terms of like work ethic and stuff like that, they put in 5 hours a day, don't you? Coding, working
5,
for Dan,
6.
5 to 6 hours a day, with Sundays off, in order to make money, to do all the things that they want to do. But they also have to pay for everything. They have to buy their own dirt bikes. We don't buy them cars. We don't buy them their boats. They pay for everything themselves because we're teaching them responsibility and whatnot. So while we love to have fun, we temper that with, in order to have fun, you have to work. It's not like they're just running Harry-Carry all over the place.
And we believe the most important mission for us as parents is getting our kids to heaven. And that is our primary goal. And so everything else is secondary to that. Our family motto is faith, family, fun.
Right.
Yeah. In a time when drugs are prevalent, and in our hometown where we used to live, it is like the schools are overrun with drugs. That's another one of the things that we're protecting our kids from. We're actually keeping them safer by us going off and having all these extreme adventures than if we put our kids in school. They're less safe in the classroom or being faced with drugs and things like that than what we're doing.
Well, for sure their souls are much safer with us. And we also don't subscribe to society's 18 and out. Why reinvent the wheel? Generation after generation after generation.
Usually it's me, Dally, Katie, and Brody driving behind the car. But now Cardi just got his permit, so he's going to take that
2 days ago.
the job.
That's another thing. Our kids don't get their learner's permit until they're 16, so that we can teach them as parents. Because in our home state, they don't allow us to parent teach at the normal age.
You sure that's why, or is it because it costs $500 for them to take the class?
Well, that too.
Unless you're me and get it at 17.
But you don't have the
'cause you forget.
option. You don't have the option of going the cheaper route and teaching.
Yeah,
as
our
a
kids are
parent.
different too. They're not like, it's not, I'm 16, I need my license, or I'm
February,
15,
March,
it's I need my
April,
permit.
May,
Kenny was
June,
17
July,
before he even got his
September,
permit.
November.
I
It
waited
just
9
wasn't-
months. I forgot.
he forgot. It's not one of those things that it's like not
I
a
studied
rite of passage for
every
them.
way.
They're off doing other things. We come through the state of Colorado or whatever, then they're like, oh, maybe we should stop at a DMV. Yeah, maybe. But usually we're not even anywhere close to Colorado. So, like, Cardi just happened to be that we were kayaking around this area. So he got his permit on his birthday, his 16th birthday, though.
Well, that's one of the harder things, actually. We do have to swing back through our hometown from time to time, primarily because of braces. It's one of the hardest things to deal with on the road is braces, because you have to go back and get it tweaked and whatever. And every single one of our kids has had braces. And so we've been at times too. Yeah. So everybody's had to get those adjustments. So we've always had to swing back through this town. And sometimes, we can't always come back through here because sometimes we're just too far away. So there's been times when, it's 3 months to go by and before we get another adjustment. But
the cool thing about all that, though, is we found some unbelievably good dentists. Rowdy needed a tooth pulled because he had an abscess. He was like, I don't know how old he was. It was a couple years ago. He was so little. And I called all around all the people that we knew and asked them who they used as a dentist. And this friend Scott of ours was, you have to go to our dentist. He was in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. And so Dan took Rowdy to the dentist and they pulled his tooth and it was the smoothest, most amazing experience. Like Rowdy didn't even know anything happened, but it was dirt cheap. I mean, what was it? Like $40?
Oh, it was like, yeah, it was really cheap.
It was so cheap. So now anytime somebody says, I need to have a filling or anything like that, we try to swing by Saudi Daisy.
Tennessee for the dentist.
to see that dentist because it's so cheap.
Oh, Mom, you got me an OIC for that.
Yeah.
What?
He was so little, and we were so worried that he'd be like traumatized or sad that Dan went to the dentist and then went by like Walmart and bought an RC car for him.
Our doctor retired anyway, so we don't really have a doctor, and we see whoever we need to see when we need it. But
Yeah,
most
urgent
of the time
cares are our saving grace.
Yeah, most of the time we don't really go to doctors. You know, like there's been like when you guys had like extreme poison ivy. You know, we did the online doctor.
It was everywhere.
Head to toe, literally.
No spot was spared. They had to get steroid shots several times. Rowdy, Cardi's had strep throat a couple times. Kenny's had strep
He
throat
got
a
shot in
couple
his butt and
times.
cried.
It was a bad shot. You moaned. It was bad. But like we get little things here and there, but for the most part we're incredibly healthy. I should knock on wood. But the doctor's been a breeze. There was one time where everybody got sick except for me. The whole family was sick, like a stomach bug or something. And we pulled off on the side of the road and the kids were lined up in some field somewhere just throwing up over and over and over again.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Good times.
It wasn't from McDonald's.
No, that was in Alabama.
No.
And we
It was
never
after-
ever
it was
eat
after
fast
we ate
food.
McDonald's.
That one time we did.
Oh, yeah,
It was
we had
after
eaten
we ate
McDonald's that
McDonald's.
day, yeah.
Kenny and Dally won't touch it. To this
No, I
day,
didn't
they
eat
won't
McDonald's.
touch McDonald's.
Except for McDonald's
Arby's.
fries.
That's where it's at.
We don't eat that stuff very often, though. We pretty much cook all the time in the RV. The Instant Pot is our
It's
saving
our
grace. It's
only
amazing.
cooking thing. except
It
for
is
the
our
microwave.
only cooking.
We have a
thing,
microwave
except for
Family
the
our
pot.
size, we can't afford to eat out. It's
Yeah.
We have a microwave and a pot.
The only time we
A
really
big,
eat out.
huge 8-quart Instant Pot.
Remember the time it fell off the counter with chili in it? Or did it not dump?
That was the pot.
that was when we had carpet. Yep, it dumped.
I don't remember that.
So we went to one of those like car washes, and we used the vacuum to suck up an entire pot of chili. We put the hose through the window
Where
and
was
sucked
I?
up an entire pot of chili.
Probably in the back sleeping.
Yeah, she sleeps a lot.
Funny, I don't.
You do.
Stop being mean to me.
I'm not being mean. I'm
Clean
being
up.
honest.
I'm tired. Back. Me and Dad
No,
escaped
that
sleep
actually, that is something that
I
really,
should do the
really,
job.
this,
You're good with me.
guys, this is like one of the biggest things about living in an RV versus living in a house, is that a house, all that space is space to get dirty, space for messes, and that used to drive you crazy
Yep.
when we had a house, and you just, we're always picking up, always cleaning up, like all the time.
Yep.
In the RV, we're just like, everybody, 10 minutes, boom, we're done. The whole RV is completely
Spotless.
cleaned.
Yep.
That is one of the greatest things about it. We don't waste a lot of time doing those stupid chores.
I mean, our
that
countertop
you
is
have
like
to
3
do.
feet long. Boom.
And it's
done.
the same thing with laundry. Like in a house, you'd have one washing machine and one dryer, and so you collect. I mean, think about it. 14 people, you'd collect a lot of laundry over the week, and then so if you spend all day on a weekend trying to do the laundry. So now we take all of our laundry and we go to a laundromat, and boom, one cycle through, all the laundry's done.
And that's the other thing about
super
living
easy.
in the RV. We are minimalist in every sense of the word. We don't use much water. We use very little electricity. Our carbon footprint is minute. It is minute. We're not even consumerists. We're producers. Like we don't need anything. And I've always said that's what's so freeing about the RV. It's not, oh, I need these. I need 18 pairs of shoes. Kids bring 2 pairs of shoes. I mean, that's what we bring. And we bring enough clothes to last a week. And we might bring a sweatshirt and a pair of extra jeans or whatever, but that's it. And so we do laundry like, every 10 days? 2 hours, we're done for another 10 days. That's it. It's liberating not to be so bogged down with stuff.
What is the absolute worst thing about living in an RV?
Honestly, I think the worst
Living
thing
with
is
these two?
because, like, me, I can kind of, like, wear, like, a shirt, like, a couple times a day. Like, a couple times a week.
I
Like,
don't
go
change
days
underwear
with
for
it.
a
Same
whole
with my,
week.
like, socks and shorts and stuff. And I bring a lot of underwear. But that's, like, the worst thing is because everybody else wears all their stuff. The worst thing about it is going to the laundromat.
You think?
You think?
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing
It's so annoying.
is when somebody poops in the bathroom.
I
Because
think-
it stinks up the whole RV.
true.
And we've tried to establish a rule that nobody's allowed, no number twos. That's the rule.
I don't even
Because,
seen it.
you know, you go in the outdoors or you go in, like, we're for somewhere where there's a bathroom, you go there.
If we're...
We try to say no going in the RV, you know, and with the exception of the little kids because it's, you know, they've had to do it. But we try to have that rule.
When we're in the woods and it's scary outside with bears and animals, I just pee out the window.
No lie, he truly does. The worst thing for me being in the RV is the downtime. Like, if we're between places or whatever and we're parked at a Walmart, I could tear my hair out. I cannot stand sitting idle in a Walmart parking lot. Can't stand it. How about you? Worst?
Cody says,
He doesn't have
Fact,
That's
I
our
think
home, Cardi says.
wasn't it the Walmart in Cleveland, Tennessee that you took off?
I almost flew home. I was so mad at Dan. Go. What's the worst thing for you?
No Wi-Fi.
What's the worst thing for you?
Kenny needs his Wi-Fi.
I know the worst thing for me.
What?
Talk to all those Tinder babes.
Bathroom.
Wash what Dallas said. Wash and dry. I literally almost wear the same shirt almost for like 2
What?
days. With 3 days.
What?
Never heard somebody... That's not a
Tinder
saying.
babes?
That's not a saying. Tinder babes.
Do you guys use Tinder?
I don't. I have a girlfriend.
I just go on.
All right clicks, like I'm interested.
You just swipe right.
And his last one, he just super swipes.
Yeah, if you run out, you just one super swipe. Super like. So Bird caught me well.
Whatever.
Wait, what's this?
Cardi, what's the worst thing for you in the RV?
Nothing. I don't know.
When we're driving, the fact, because none of the little kids can even freaking hold their pee, it's like 10 minutes. I have to pee again, so we stop, waste like an hour of driving each time.
Yeah,
Because we're
Ellie's
just trying
the
to get
worst.
to the spot.
right.
Just
Exactly.
trying to barrel down the road, but then kids get in our way, especially you.
Me?
Yeah, every 10 seconds you have to pee.
Now I can hold
Hey,
it.
it's like, guys, I gotta go
I
pee.
used to.
Okay, can you hold it? Yeah. I gotta go pee. I really have to go pee. I have to go pee really bad. Can we pull over?
Or it's like next thing you know, we stop, mom's going to the store, I have to pee!
Yeah.
Literally, do you know what it was for the longest time? They wanted to know what color soap was in the bathroom.
Right. That was a big deal.
Literally.
That was a big deal.
I remember that. Literally. Because one time I heard somebody, I think it was Ellie, come out, Kobe, what color soap was in the boys? I was like, what?
What's the absolute best thing about living in an RV?
Always having something to do.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
freedom
There's
for
literally,
sure.
you're always in a different spot, so there's always something to do.
And you
No matter
I
can
think
pick up
what
your
it
house
is.
and move at any moment. Like there's nothing holding you back. You're just like, oh, I want to go to Tennessee, and you're in California. You can literally go there.
Don't like my neighbor? Bye.
Right.
On down the road.
Exactly. We've only had one problem, right? And that was at that pool in Cherokee, where Cardi got us kicked out, right?
Yeah,
Nice going.
that's another thing though. With our
I
size
like that
family,
pool.
we actually can't stay in most campgrounds
Yeah.
because we're a little wild and we're big family, and not only are we usually priced out, but they expect like people to be like robots or something.
Like, don't walk up
And
the slide.
Don't
Use the
climb a tree
steps.
and stuff like that, and so we end up getting kicked out of places, and it's ridiculous. So
We had the cops called on us one time because the kids were climbing on the outside of the playground equipment, and another time some woman called because you guys were walking on the fence. They were walking on top of the fence at a playground. So ridiculous. But the cop called. I thought it was so funny because she told me that my kids were a bad influence on her kids, but there she was, probably 500 pounds, smoking a cigarette. And I was like, really? That's nice.
Our family is super athletic, and Kobe and Ellie, they're young. So like when we go to like pools and stuff, they can't like do the big slides.
Yeah,
Like,
because
do
of
all
height.
the big kid things.
Yeah. When you know they could, there's nothing stopping them. They can swim 5 laps. They could swim for hours back and forth at a pool. They're not. Nothing's going to happen to them. Plus, we're there.
well, some of the pools make them do a swim
Yeah,
test.
one of them had to
and they
swim
literally
a full lap
Yeah.
Full lap.
Like Olympic-sized pool,
Not-
back and
no,
forth.
that's not a length.
Yeah, that's a lap.
lengths.
Back and back.
Boom,
back
boom
and
is a
forth.
lap. Boom,
You
boom.
guys are wrong.
Anyway, it's
a
like
lap
what?
is
It's like
there.
Okay.
It's like 100 meters though, and here
Yes.
you got a little 5-year-old
Yeah.
who could swim 100 meters, and the people don't believe it.
They made him
And
swim
then he
there and
can.
back, and then
2
he did it.
times.
And
Yeah.
and he's like 5 at the time. No, 4 or something like
Four.
that.
Might have been 4 of them.
Tiny, and they were making this tiny little kid swim that to see if he could go. We're like, that's a long ways, but he did it.
Right. But that's the other thing we've noticed about like traveling to Canada, say. Parents have a whole lot more leeway. They kind of trust your parenting, and they kind of govern by common sense. So, okay, you want your kid to be able to swim in the big pool? Swim. Let me just prove to me you can do it. Makes a lot of sense. And there's no guardrails, and there's no signs warning you about don't come near this waterfall because if you fall off you're going to die. You just kind of like
Common
that.
sense.
So we can walk all the way up to the end of a waterfall if we want to. We don't have in Canada there's not all these ridiculous liability laws, and we love it in Canada for that very reason because we do push the envelope. We do kind of go past what most people would think would be safe. Which brings us back to the fact that everybody thinks we're insane. You know, our parents, our friends, they all think that, like, they all thought we were crazy, and now everybody's talking about getting into RVing and stuff because our kids have just trumped every expectation that anybody ever had for them because they're awesome.
But both our parents live across the country, and literally when we go back to see them, we don't like get to go in their house anyway. So it's like
There's too many of us.
It's like you have to stay in the RV and park on the street, literally like the Griswolds. I mean, that's what it's like. So
My mom, God bless her, she's as generous as they come, and she's kind, and she's come around a lot since we first started doing this. But she lets like 2 people in it at a time, and then she locks her door so that everybody has to play outside in the cul-de-sac. And then those 2 people go, and she'll let 2 more people come in to use the bathroom only. We're not allowed to sit on her furniture. She thinks, I don't know what she thinks, but same with Dan's parents. They unlock the basement door. We're allowed in the basement to use the bathroom, and that's about it.
we eat outside.
Yeah. Hot dogs and stuff, you know. So it's like
Yeah, it's
we're too much for most people.
Yeah.
We're a big, huge group, and
we have friends actually now all across the country, throughout
Into Canada.
into Canada.
yeah.
But even amongst our friends, there's very few people that can actually handle us and can invite us into their home as if we're part of their family.
Yeah.
And so those people we really hold a special place in our hearts for.
Yep.